It's like GPS for your life, the Sky Vibe Show. It's Judi and Thomas back again with another edition of the Sky Vibe Show with a very interesting question. Thomas Miller, professional astrologer. We just had a career fair at iHeartRadio at our local. Lots of people showed up. It was great.
Cool.
And it had me thinking, I wonder, can you go to an astrologer or look at your chart and see what kind of a career would be good for you? There's a lot of people that are into career changes right now.
Boy, can you. I'll tell you a story of how it affected me, but the answer is absolutely you can. It's probably one of the top 3 reasons people would even contact an astrologer. The other would be what,
Really?
Judi? What would be one of the other ones, would you think?
Love and marriage, of course. And babies.
And then what would be the other one, would you imagine? It's the cousin of career.
Oh, love money.
Money.
Love money.
Money,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. Should I move? Oh, that's another one, relocation. Should I move?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Should
do I
I
need to move?
change
Do I need to move?
jobs? And when am I going to find love, right? I mean, it's just so predictable.
Yep.
So, yes, in fact, there was a big shift for me personally in 2018. I had left Colorado. I'd been there for a couple of years and came back to Texas at that point and was kind of looking for what's next.
But your exes live in Texas.
Oh, all of them. That's why I'm in California.
Sorry, had to do it. Was in country
It was
music
the
for many
farthest
years.
I could get, not be in water, you know. But
Right.
but there was this opportunity that I had to do a little extra reading as I was taking care of somebody who had had an injury, and I picked up this book by a guy by the name of Noel Tyl. Spells his last name Tyl. If you guys want to pick it up, and it's career astrology, and he teaches how to look at the chart through the eyes of what should I be doing with my life. Mm-hmm. And basically, now this gets a little in the weeds of astrology, but remember, we're talking about the circle. And the circle is cut into 12 different pieces of pie. And those different pieces of pie, if you think about, we were at a Broadway play, and the stage, you know, the curtain goes up, and there's the stage. Where are we? Well, if we're at the bank, that's the second house in the chart. Mm-hmm. That's our money. And that's the reason we work, primarily. I mean, some of us love what we do, and we would do it if we didn't make a dime, but typically people go to work for money. That's the second house. So we get clues from the second house of how we are adept at making money. I'll just give you an example. My second house has the moon as the ruler of it. The moon is our intuition. So I know that when I follow intuition, money seems to work out. When I try to force something or put a business plan together that drives my agenda, it usually doesn't work out. In 2013, I was literally getting ready to go on a bicycle ride, and I was filling up my water bottles at the sink, and I heard a voice say, "Email Fred Dodson." He was an author. I was reading one of his books. Email Fred Dodson about narrating his audiobooks.
Just out of the blue.
Out of the blue. Totally intuitive. And the best thing I ever did was set those water bottles down and go find him online. And back then his email was available. And I emailed him a little demo of the audiobook stuff I had been doing. And 3 words changed my life. Let's do it.
Wow.
Totally intuitive. But money came from that because of the royalties on the books. So that's following intuition into money. Now, you blend that with a couple of other pieces of pie. One of them is up at the top of the chart. That's the 10th house, which represents our career. That's going to tell us more what we may be adept at doing. So, for example, your career house in your chart is ruled by Leo. So
I had to be in entertainment.
Your sun is in Leo. So you've got a lot of fire, and that's represented by your red hair. And it is that you are just a natural at what you do. And you are so good at it. And you could do it in any market in this country and be very, very, very well accepted.
I enjoy it, too.
And it's sitting right next to your sun is just right next door to Mercury on the day that you were born. And that's
communication.
Communication, exactly. So,
Crazy, isn't it?
all we have to do is just wake you up in the morning and get you in front of a microphone. The rest is just
Boom.
natural.
Boom shakalaka. And it really is crazy because I know that you looked at my chart, or could have been you and Robert, I'm not sure, another astrologer, and knew without even knowing me that I have a daughter who does law and I have a son who's a musician. How you would know that, I have no idea. It's in the chart.
Everything about Robert has a great saying. You mentioned Robert Glasscock. He has a great saying that if it's not in the chart, it doesn't happen in your life. That chart is that inclusive. It's scary. I mean, this is where we get into the, oh my gosh, how in the world do they know that? But it is. And the other thing that's cool is you didn't set out to be in radio.
No, I fell into it. I wanted to be a writer, actually. And that is communication, and I do write. I'm a poet first and a writer first in my head, but then I ended up in radio and in broadcasting.
Well, and this is something that I've learned in my experience, is that when we marry the guide that astrology gives us with the synchronicities of life that just happen, those intersections, email Fred Dodson, the opportunity that you had to stumble into radio was a lot more than just an accident. See, we will meet a destined path. We have plenty of opportunities. We may run from it. We may get out of the business for a while. But it seems like if that's our path, we'll always find our way back, or we'll be given the opportunity to.
It's funny because when I say I fell into it, I will say that I was, at the time, I was moving from LA to the Midwest. And I was an actress and a writer, but, I did a lot of stage and I did commercials and so forth. But I was a voiceover person. And I remember driving in St. Louis and I went, what am I going to do? And I look up and I see radio stations. And I went, oh, I could just do that. Like I knew what I was doing.
I'm going to walk right on in.
Lo and behold.
They'll have a job for me.
Somehow I met the right people at the right time, and that it was like that voice you heard, something in me knew, and then I kind of did fall into it by meeting the right people.
Well, and some people look at, like people who have this kind of thing happen in our lives, and they may not quite know how to respond to it. But the thing is that if you just get to following the path that this chart shows you is the general direction, then the synchronicities, I love that word and that concept, the synchronicities, that's the divine guidance. That's the path opening up in front of you. The Bible talks about that a lot, that if we will commit our ways to the Lord, the path will unfold in front of us. Well, that's what this is a form of doing. It very much is. We're committing ourselves to our highest path, and then God takes care of the rest. It's a cool concept. Now, there's one other little piece of pie that we have to acknowledge in this, and that is the sixth house, and that's basically our day-to-day job. That would be the KLOU studios.
Okay.
That's where you go to do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sixth house, the day in, day out work. So what you combine are things like your sun sign, your rising sign, the characteristics of the second house, the characteristics of the 10th house and the 6th house, the moon you might even consider. You put all of that together, and that's where you come up with what you do. I put together something that people can use. It's very simplistic, but it's on my website, funastrology.com, in the little store section, and it's jobs by astrological sign. So for Leos,
I like this.
What are the best jobs? I pulled it from various sources. There's no rhyme or reason, or just a bunch of different sources, kind of cut and paste, put things together. But I wanted a list for people of, if I'm a Scorpio, what would be good things for me to look at?
A spy.
Oh, yeah, a detective. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
A researcher, a surgeon, a journalist.
Sure.
I mean, Walter Cronkite was a Scorpio. Dan Rather's a Scorpio.
They really look into every detail.
Yeah. So that list is available. It's only like, I think, $6. It's not much. It's a PDF download. But that will get you started. I mean, that's a good place. You can kind of start looking in that direction. And then, obviously, if you really wanted to get the whole thing laid out for you inclusively, then you would consult a professional astrologer for a reading. and really dig
I
into
highly
those areas.
recommend it. I highly recommend it if you can. Now on funastrology.com, I keep hitting my mic arm. Sorry about that. On funastrology.com, there's so many freebies on there. You could go to astro-speak. There's so many different places to get your chart, but to get it explained, and I still, even after having readings with you, a couple of them actually, and Robert Glasscock, I still have to write down every house. What does it mean? And because it's years that it takes to learn this stuff. So I highly suggest you take an hour. It could change your life. I know it has mine.
Maybe it's about time I start doing readings. I'll tell you what, I don't have it up there right now, but if somebody is interested in a reading, there's a chat bot thing in the lower right corner of the funastrology.com website. Just send me a message through that. Say you heard it here on the podcast, and I will see what I can do to do a one-on-one with you, especially if this is an area that you want to look at.
I love that. I love that so much. And maybe we'll think about doing something live. We'll talk about that.
Hey, we could maybe pick some people and do something live. Yeah.
You're seeing where I'm going with that. It's just the thought. I like that.
Right.
I'm that passionate about what you do and this tool that is a GPS for our lives.
I think we need to do this with Billy and see if he's in the right job.
I think he is, but I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
He would be questioning whether I was in the right job.
That's right. No,
I love it.
Y'all are stuck with each other. I mean, you all are good. So, no, you found your path. See, that's the thing. You don't have to look at a chart to find your way. You'll find it. It will present itself. And you and Billy both found your way. Mm-hmm. But the chart can give us so much guidance, especially if we're looking.
I love that. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. Again, just make sure that you, of course, subscribe to The Sky Vibe, and you want to reach out. It's so easy. Just go to funastrology.com. Plethora of information there.